There was a day where I tried to stream something upstairs. It crashed my upstairs computer. I went downstairs to try to stream it as well, and it crashed the computer too.
You're such a dummy.
I'm such a dummy.
Hello, clowns.
I'm Amee.
I'm Chen, and we're the hosts of Clown Vibes Podcast.
We're two best friends who get together to laugh and discuss a variety of topics.
From all things pop culture to navigating through adulthood as Asian Americans, and more with our own clown spin, of course.
We're so glad to have you here to clown around with us, and we hope you enjoy the episode. What's up, clowns? How's it going?
Hey, everyone.
What a long week it's been.
It's been the longest week. I've literally been telling everyone this, and I've been forgetting who I've been telling that it's a long week. And so I feel like I'm just repeating myself to everyone, and they're tired of me.
They're like, yeah, we get it. It's been a long week. No, but it has. It's felt like disproportionately longer than most, and I don't know why. And my whole body is like in pain.
I know. But honestly,
and that might be why.
The days that we record Clown Vibes, always my favorite days.
Same. Also, it's a Friday, so it's hard to for it to not be.
The vibes are good if you can't tell by our tone.
The vibes are good. I have some great plans for this afternoon, which I'm pumped for.
I'm going out of town this afternoon. No, I'm not. I lied. I'm going out of town.
You are?
Well, I'm doing like a staycation, but like driving outside into the city because I rented a car, right? Well, I was asking you about it.
Wait, driving outside into the city? What does that mean?
Sorry, you need to cut this because I actually just don't know what I'm saying. I rented a car and we're getting out of the city, but we're staying in the city. So it's a little bit like a staycation.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. You asked for the car code, but then you never told me like what you were doing. And I was just like, okay, like maybe it's for later. Wow, I didn't know that you were going on vacation.
It's not actually vacation.
I'm going to be sad this weekend.
No, I'm just going hiking outside of the city and then we're going to Sonoma. So it's literally it's like if we went to Houston.
Okay, but cooler.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks because you've been so busy all week. I've barely been able to text you, and now you'll be busy this weekend. RIP.
Got to get your text in today.
That's okay. It's for the best. I know. I have to get all of my thoughts out. No, on Sunday, you're just going to wake up to like 50 voice notes from me.
For the audience, I mean, we have a few new listeners now, but for the audience, Amee and I are friends in real life, but we have Clown Vibes, which is very much a business for us. And so we have our conversations on WhatsApp for Clown Vibes specifically. Amee has been really pushing the boundaries, the work-life balance boundaries that I have set, and has been trying to WhatsApp me some personal stuff. And I'm just like, you really got to stop this, dude. I'm going to report you to HR.
It's my fail-safe way of getting you to see it quicker.
I know. Because every time I see it from iMessage, because I'm working, I will respond and look at it later.
It's not really that. Like, I just thought of that, and maybe that's subconsciously why I'm doing it. It's because, like, when I'm on my computer, it's just easier to type because I have WhatsApp in my browser rather than, like, get my phone and, like, send you the message. But I'll be better about it. Don't report me. I'm working on it, okay? Anyways, while you were AWOL this week, I saw this really funny tweet. Well, okay, it's from a while ago, but someone quote tweeted it. But I've been getting a lot of my news from Popbase on Twitter. X. And which is embarrassing, but they're breaking news, honestly. But the godfather of AI, I don't know who gave him that title, but whatever, quit Google after a decade and has been expressing regret over his life's work and warnings of danger ahead. And he said, like, I console myself with the normal excuse. If I hadn't done it, someone else would have. And the quote tweet was like, our modern day Oppenheimer, which I thought was funny. And scary. AI is like very scary.
It's so scary. I've been getting so many of those TikToks where it's like they create a headshot with their AI filter, and people are also like, this is what I would look like if I lost 50 pounds. I'm just like, oh my gosh, don't do that to yourself. That is
Yeah.
demoralizing.
Have you seen that like screenshot that's been going around where someone like replied to an email that was like, "Hey, don't use AI to like reply to me," and the like original sender replied and was like, "It's not AI. I'm autistic."
I saw that. I literally saw that this morning, and that was a tweet that I was going to share with you today.
You're too busy. You're so behind. I've seen it like 7 times
Oh my
already.
gosh, am I? I'm actually just scared to open Twitter/X. Ever since he changed it to X, I don't know. The Twitter X symbol is right below my Xfinity app, and I just get really
Oh,
confused. And now every time I type Twitter in my app or in my search bar for my iPhone, it just comes like there's nothing or IP. Like, are we
yeah.
just supposed to call it X now?
I don't know. That's so confusing. But there's some things that still say Twitter. Like if you get a notification, maybe it changed, but like when I first got X or when it first changed to X, it would still say like notification from Twitter. So they like didn't even do a very smooth rollout of this. It has been really piece by piece, like changing leftover things that still say tweet, which is sad because like what are you supposed to say? I X'd
I X
today? That's
that.
fucking weird. Elon's so dumb. He's trying to light this company on fire, which sucks because Twitter is my favorite.
It's such a good social media platform. I guess we should all
I
switch
know.
to what is the Instagram one? Did that ever take off?
Threads.
Yeah.
No, okay, I don't know, but at the beginning, I was like, oh, let me make Clown Vibes threads. But like the second day it was out, everyone was like, don't make this because you can't like deactivate it without like deleting your Instagram account too and like all this stuff. So I just did it. And I
Mm,
don't know. If it actually takes off, we'll make an account, but I have doubts. I don't think it'll take off until X is like dead.
I mean, at this rate, slow death.
Might be soon.
All right. Speaking of AI, should we get into our main topic today? Warning to
Let's.
the audience. It's actually not about AI. It's about the latest writer strike and actor strike now. But also, fair warning to the audience: we are not actors, if you can't tell,
Nor writers.
nor writers. If you have seen our episode descriptions, God help us
If
all.
there's a typo, I'm sorry. Every week when I sit down or like when I upload the draft and write the description, I'm just like, God, what do I say?
It is actually kind of
That's my
hard.
least favorite activity.
Yeah.
It's so hard. It's like, how can I be witty? It's like 9 in the morning. I can't.
All right. But for the writers and actors strike, we wanted to talk about, what is going on right now. We're recording it on 8/4. I think they're actually having a meeting today to discuss potential negotiations. So there are probably updates coming out post this episode that we're recording. But we wanted to kind of talk about what has been happening since May, some of the more clownish moments that have come out. Lots of rumors, lots of TikToks and tweets talking about all the residuals. And then, of course, Amee and I, more so Amee, are experts on television. So we just wanted to talk about how the last actors and writers strike impacted television as we know it as consumers, but also what is coming up for us in the future because it's going to be bleak.
Very bleak. I'm distraught thinking about it. I hope that they just get paid what they deserve and we can all move on and watch some good TV. But let's start. Okay, so here are some high level facts. The writer's strike started May 2nd, 2023, and it represents over 11,500 screenwriters. And they actually took a vote I guess you have to take a vote to go on strike, and 97.85% of their guild voted yes for the strike. So everyone wants this, and everyone is invested in getting their bag, which they should be. And then the actors joined them on July 14th, so about 2.5 months later. And it started with their like president. Is it their president, Fran Drescher, is the actor from The Nanny, with like, I didn't watch it, but she gave a very captivating speech to get the actors all riled up.
As she should, because she's an actress.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if we did that. Hey, clowns.
But it's going to affect a lot of stuff. So when the strike was announced, the Oppenheimer London premiere was actually going on, and Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Cillian Murphy. Am I saying his name right?
I think so. Also, I just think he's so hot. I have
he's
to
so
throw
hot.
it out there.
Yeah. And Florence Pugh walked out of the red carpet to get ready for the strike, and the director had to make an announcement basically that was like, hey, they have to go like make signs, and everyone needs a fair wage. The director guild actually reached a conclusion, reached a deal with the networks and everything earlier this year. So they're not on strike and will not be on strike unless I guess they join the others, which I don't know how that works exactly, but those are the high level facts.
And the writers have been on strike before, more so than the actors. The past actors guild strike included a 6-week walkout in 1960. And fun fact, when I found this, I was just like, whoa, I forgot that he was an actor. But
yeah,
it was led by then President and future U.S. President Ronald Reagan.
Crazy. Also, like, what is that saying? History repeating itself, because Trump was also on TV, although he was never the Actors Guild president. I doubt it.
And the current strike is between the unions and the AMPTP. And that is like the group of studios that includes like Netflix, HBO, ABC, like all the big ones, you name it, they're in that group. Reality TV shows and industries outside of SAG and WGA, such as music, podcasts, and books, remain unaffected. Luckily for you guys, we are not on strike. Luckily and unluckily.
You decide. Okay, so what are they fighting for? Tell us the basics.
Okay, there are basically 3 main points. One is basic pay, which everyone should get what they need to live a healthy, or what is it? A reasonable wage lifestyle.
Yeah, a livable wage.
So we're not really going to talk about that, but there's also streaming residuals and the threat of AI. So let's talk about streaming residuals, first of all. A streaming residual is basically just money that you get probably on like a monthly basis after you film a particular television series and a movie. I think there are certain parameters set by the guidelines agreed by like the union, I think, and the studios. But basically, actors have come forward and said, this is the closest that we get to consistent pay.
And we've been seeing a lot of actors like come out with their residual checks since the strike started, and some of these checks are for like cents. And Mandy Moore actually also said how much she was getting, and she's getting like nothing from This Is Us, which is a huge show. And that's primarily because people are streaming it and they don't have good guidelines around streaming in their contracts right now because it's like a newer thing.
Okay, but I have a question, and maybe we don't know the answer to this. Before streaming,
Okay.
how did actors and actresses get residuals? Because I feel
Reruns.
reruns on TV,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and were they getting bigger residual checks from that?
for sure. Yeah. I think it used to be fine because think about how often good shows are rerun. Like all the time. Throughout the night sometimes, you know? So I think like it used to be fine, but with the switch to Netflix, Hulu, HBO, etc., those I guess services weren't in the contracts, so these major studios were basically skirting around paying residuals, which is stupid.
Yeah, I was following the thread of. Did you ever watch Lizzie McGuire?
Of course.
That was one of my favorite TV shows growing up. But the guy who plays the dad, I forget his name, he came forward with his residual checks as well for Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
And Lizzie McGuire only streams on Disney Plus, and he was getting pennies, if not anything. And I
Yeah.
was reading the thread, and obviously there was a lot of support for him, but people were also in defense of the studio, saying like Lizzie McGuire isn't so popularly streamed anymore. Um, like it makes sense that he's not getting as much just due to like the competition of how much media is out there on these streaming services. Like if you think about it, how many major streaming
Yeah.
services do we own? And you and I share an HBO account, and you have not even been using HBO, which is
No.
crazy to me. And so, on like a monthly basis, the amount of people that are watching a specific show, I think, is significantly less than
That's
what
true.
we used to do if there were reruns.
Yeah, that's fair. And a good point, but I think like whoever is watching it on Disney Plus, I don't think the actors are getting residuals from that. I think it's only if like Disney Channel is playing it. So, regardless of who is watching it on streaming, like even if a few people were, like I don't think they're getting the money from that. And they should. Like it's one thing if they're getting the residuals from every time like somewhere it's being streamed versus like only getting it on TV, which most people don't watch. I have no idea what Nickelodeon and Disney even play on the daily anymore. Like I don't have cable obviously, so I have no idea what their schedule looks like these days.
I saw something funny about residual checks. Apparently, residual checks have always been shitty. And I want to argue, like, even before
Interesting.
streaming services have been around.
Okay.
And I read that there is a bar in Studio City called Residuals where you can basically cash in a poor residual check for a drink. And people are saying, like,
Mm-hmm.
they've been to that bar. They probably don't do this anymore. But
Yeah.
if this bar exists, then the concept of a residual, like how they've structured the pay for actors and actresses to still get paid for the work that they've done, is inherently wrong.
Yeah. I think it was better, but like not good. And it's still, and now it's gotten even worse. And for writers, especially, like, you're not paid that much to write. And then if you're not getting any residuals, you're screwed. Like the guy who wrote The Bear, which is a really popular show,
I love the
said
bear.
he had negative, I know, I love The Bear. He had negative money in his bank account when he won a WGA award.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. This is like such a popular show. So many people are watching it. I think like pretty much everyone I know has seen The Bear. And the fact that the writer of The Bear, what?
Everyone I know except for Nico.
Why? What's his beef with cooking?
Nothing. He even has my Hulu account for free, and he chooses to read, I don't know, calculus books instead.
What are we getting in this trade of him getting the Hulu account?
It's easy. He's not using it. It's I'm using it at this point.
He's gonna be like, yeah, okay, log out. I don't care.
Anyways, go on.
But yeah, pretty much everyone I know has been watching The Bear. So the fact that like the person literally behind The Bear is broke is just doesn't make sense.
All right, I want to go back to the concept of base pay because I read this article from Rolling Stones where a former writer's assistant. I don't actually know all the roles in
Oh yeah.
like the writers and actors in the studios, but the writer's assistant. So Disney used to give their writer's assistant free lunches if they fall below some sort of minimum wage or if they actually made minimum wage. And that's great, like free food for the writers, but or no, free food for the assistants. But due to budgetary constraints, they've taken that away. And shouldn't you? But the writers were still getting free lunches. If you were cutting budget for lunches, doesn't that mean that you should be cutting it at the top? And the people who actually need the food should be getting it. To me, that doesn't make any
I
sense.
mean, yeah, I think both should be getting it. I think that the reason the writers were still getting it is because the union had negotiated that, right? But I doubt that there's a writers assistants union, or I wonder if the writers assistants like can be part of the writers union. But that's probably why the writers still got food, and then it was the writers ultimately that were able to get the writers assistants lunches, right?
Yeah, but it was only because they were doing it on the DL. Like they would
Yeah.
ask them for their orders, put it in their names, and just give them their lunches. But this guy was saying that he was basically relying on these free lunches to feed himself, which is very, very sad.
Sick. Yeah. It just like doesn't make sense. You know what? Take away the free lunches but increase pay. Like there was a reason you were giving people free lunches, and what is the alternative that you're offering them when you take it away? Like you can't just take it away
Mm-hmm.
without something in return. So
Let's talk about artificial intelligence. Back to our first intro topic. AI is scary. I mean, I think the issue here is that there's still just so much unknown about what AI can do. And whenever we don't know enough about it, we get scared. And so what they're
yeah.
claiming is that like they want certain regulations or constraints on the use of AI to write TV scripts, or to do all these like creative things that would eventually get them out of a job. And basically, the AMPTP had rejected the proposal and instead they counteroffered to hold annual meetings to discuss advancements in technology. First off, AI is advancing faster than 1 year. Like, I feel like every
Yeah.
month there is an update for the use of AI. It's developing really rapidly. And I feel like the counter proposal is such an insult to the writer's actual
Mm-hmm.
concerns. We saw the use of it in applying for jobs. And so people are actually adopting it for the use of like writing. And also essays too, right? Like people have been using it to
Interesting.
write essays in school. So there are certain constraints put in
Yeah.
place that kind of back up the concerns of the writers. And I feel like the studios are not really respecting that at all.
Yeah, and doesn't AI learn from like past like scripts and stuff like say for writing to where what it's putting out is not necessarily like original work, right? It's basically a conglomeration of like everything that's happened in the past, and it's just kind of rewording it and like copy pasting different things together. Is that right? I don't understand AI
I don't
fully.
understand AI. I don't want anything to do with AI, honestly.
Same. Regardless, I have seen way too many AI scripts on TikTok where, I mean, not TikTok, on Twitter, where the person will be like, write a script based on this show, and the bot or whatever will watch like a ton of episodes of that particular show and write a script, and even those are like kind of funny. Like they're not natural, and I think like over an episode you can 100% tell. Maybe like one page makes sense, but in totality it's not going to.
Should we talk about some of the clownish moments that happened in the last writers' strike? Okay, so it lasted for about 100 days. Most shows went on an extended break. Some movies went into production where the script wasn't finished. Did you ever watch Heroes?
No.
Never? Okay, honestly, I don't think it's your type of show. It was so good when it came out. Honestly, I think the concept of Heroes is so original. When I saw that it was part of the last writer's strike, I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of want to rewatch it. But only the first few seasons, or honestly, only the first season, because the second season was during the writer's strike, and the second season is the most trash season.
Classic.
And wasn't Gossip Girl a part of the last strike too?
I'm sure. I wonder what season. You know what? If I had to guess,
I wonder if it's the Hilary Duff season, because that season was trash.
that season was so bad. Or season 5 was super bad too. Honestly, after season 3, everything really goes down the shit.
Yeah. The Hilary Duff season, like, it has nothing to do with Hilary Duff. I love Hilary Duff. It was just...
Yeah.
The writing made no sense to me. The plot
went off the walls. Yeah. Tough.
Prison Break. Did you ever watch Prison Break? Whoa.
No.
Why did you shake your head yes then? I was surprised. I thought you watched Prison Break and I was like, this is also not an Amee show.
I've seen a couple of episodes, but I have not seen the show in entirety. And I think I watched it because you told me. Okay. And
I should not have told you this. I probably told you to watch it when I didn't know you as well. Okay, so background for the audience. Amee's TV vibe is happy-go-lucky, really trash writing. I received a text from her this week that was super concerning. She was like, Jenny and Georgia is my comfort TV show. And I looked at it and I was alarmed.
Okay, it's because like right now I just don't have... Okay, but I do watch some good shows sprinkled in, right? Like I did watch The Bear. I do watch like White Lotus, things like that. But it is always sandwiched between a lot of very easy TV to just put on. I like to just put on TV and look at my phone. So it needs to be something that I can glance at every 10 minutes and still know what's going on.
And meanwhile, I am watching psychological thrillers, stuff that would give me nightmares, a lot of drama, a lot of crime. We have very different vibes, but Prison Break is one of the... I mean, if you are into like deep thrillers like Prison Break, I highly recommend. But it was such a good concept and they botched it in season 3, and lo and behold, that was part of the writer's strike. R.I.P.
R.I.P. But you know what did surge in the last writer's strike is reality TV.
And we are blessed for that.
Blessed for that. Blessed and also maybe not. Because, I think like all of the really good reality TV ideas are mostly done. And there was a lot of good ideas that came out of that time. But I think most of the new reality TV shows are flops. And I can't think of a single one that I actually like.
At this point, I think the studios are really struggling to hit home runs, and so they're creating more content than needed. Which I wanted to bring this point up because, current writer's strike clown moments. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, put out a statement that has been getting him a lot of shit. I actually just want to read it to you right now. So Bob was a CEO from 2005 to 2020. He left that contract afterwards and he was replaced by another Bob. I don't know why, but Bob's and Disney go together. But he came back after 1 year. So Disney fully supports this CEO and believes that he is the right leader for them. And he came out with this statement that is very damaging to Disney's image. He said, "It's very disturbing to me. We've talked about disruptive forces on this business and all the challenges we're facing, the recovery from COVID, which is ongoing. It's not completely back." I hate when people use COVID as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
He goes on to say, "This is the worst time in the world to add to that disruption. I understand any labor organization's desire to work on behalf of its members to get the most compensation and be compensated fairly based on the value that they deliver. We managed as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the value that the directors contribute to this business. We want to do the same with the writers, and we like to do the same with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic, and they are adding to the set of challenges that this business is already facing that is quite frankly very disruptive." So much business lingo. I hate the use of disruption because my argument is if your current business model is not working to the point where actors and writers are not getting paid fairly and they're not getting
Yeah.
a minimum wage that is actually livable, something is very wrong with your model and it needs to be disrupted in a different way. Like you need to disrupt your own business model.
Exactly. And the fact, this is what I hate the most, like when anyone does it, is blaming the like people under you for like causing an issue in the company. And it's like, no, you're in charge of everything. So any disruption is yours to take. Like you cannot blame someone who can't even afford to buy like food to eat for like causing a rift in the industry. Like that's insane.
I also just don't understand, like, to our point where we've said we've just made too much reality TV, maybe because of streaming and all the like disjointed streaming services, there's just so much competition to produce content these days, which is added costs. And it's so expensive to produce these shows now that instead of putting a few eggs in a few baskets, everyone is putting so many eggs in different baskets, driving up the costs and not really getting the payout because we're still paying the same amount on a monthly basis. I mean, the cost of membership is going up, but I don't think that covers how expensive it is to produce these shows and movies.
Yeah, they're literally like throwing pasta in the wall and seeing what sticks, and nothing is sticking. Like each studio probably has like one or two good shows, and the rest suck.
You know, every week we talk about how there's no good TV to watch anymore.
Yeah, seriously. I don't remember the last time. Well, I guess when Never Have I Ever season 4 came out, where I was like excited for it. But besides that, which was early June, I have not, and Manifest season 4. Can't forget that. Or yeah, season 4. Anyways,
no comment.
There has not been good TV in months. Yeah. And it sucks.
Another clownish moment is A24, which is a smaller independent film studio, was able to agree to the demands of the Writers and Actors Guild, and they're able to continue filming. So I'm just confused how these larger networks are unable to reach a decision. I'd love to know like what is required. Like, does all the networks have to agree in order to agree to a decision? Like, I wonder if it's like a jury thing where it's like if one holds out, who do we think is holding out here?
Ooh, probably HBO Max. No, Peacock is not holding out. I feel like they are actually thriving right now. Well, do I say that because I've just been watching a lot of reality TV and most of my favorite reality TV is on Peacock?
Wait, what have you been streaming? Like, are you on Peacock? I thought you were just on Hulu.
Yeah. No, I've been hella on Peacock, like watching Old Southern Charm, Made in Chelsea. I've just been watching a lot of reality TV on Peacock lately. The reason I'm not on Max is because I haven't downloaded the new app. And it's like not easy on my TV. Like it's kind of annoying. So I just haven't done it because of that.
That's weird. Okay, speaking of Max though. So there's been a lot of rumors that The recent rebranding of HBO Max to Max, which is the funniest thing ever,
Stupid.
is related to the studio not wanting to pay residuals. And according to lawyers that have come forward, that's false. They are still legally required to pay residuals. So there's just a lot of rumors in the rumor mill that's adding fuel to the fire. And with the rise of like social media and actors and actresses and writers taking to like TikTok, showing their residual checks, like,
yeah,
there's just so much information, but also false information.
Yeah. It's hard to know like what's what, but regardless, anything that's like helping the writers and actors, I'm like, whatever. Spread away.
I know. Okay, the last piece of clown information I wanted to share is I saw this really funny Vanity Fair article that was saying how plastic surgery is on the rise in LA because ever since the Actors Guild announced that they were going on strike, everyone is just putting in their appointments.
They're like, yes, a forced break. This is my opportunity. Honestly, fine.
Yeah, like I totally see it. Like someone was telling me that their friend who is, I think, a writer just decided to travel in Europe for like 4 months. And I respect that. Like,
yeah,
the way that their business works is I feel like they're constantly having to hustle for their next job. Like it's not stable once a show wraps up. And so they're constantly in this like fight or flight mode. Yeah, and this is a definitive break and they so deserve it. So why not go get that boob job, or why not go travel Southeast Asia for a few months and come back?
You know, when you said that, what it reminded me of? Yeah, hopefully with a higher wage. I immediately was like, yeah, it's like when you get your wisdom teeth out during spring break. Like, you need to recover, and that's like your time.
You know, that's so funny because I think I did get my wisdom teeth removed during spring break. You didn't, though. You got it like during...
No, I didn't.
When you were working.
I did it like 2 years ago, yeah. I had excruciating tooth pain, and then I finally was like, get these suckers out of me.
Okay, as I was researching, you know, the demands of the writers and all of the thought and like how the money is made and ends up like how the money trickles into the hands of the people who work on the project, it really made me feel bad about pirating TV shows when I was younger.
Yeah, but the thing is, we also were broke. Like, you know...
We were broke, yeah.
It wasn't like we could afford it and we just weren't. It was also like when we were younger, it wasn't easy to like go on someone's website and watch these shows. Like the shows that I was watching online were shows that I could not find anywhere in a way that like I could watch it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, it is what it is.
Okay, so I was streaming illegally. Oh my gosh, am I going to get served for this? Years back, before, for example, CW had their web player online where you could watch the previous week's shows. And once that happened, I would go on ABC or I would go on CW, watch the ads and watch the videos. And so I feel like I was streaming illegally out of necessity.
Oh, for sure. And like, you know, we were served with a lot of issues from doing that. I had many viruses. I had many issues from it. So it was not cost-free.
You want to hear something funny that I did when I was younger?
What?
So we had 2 computers at home, one upstairs and one downstairs. There was a day where I tried to stream something upstairs. It crashed my upstairs computer. I went downstairs to try to stream it as well, and it crashed the computer too.
You're such a dummy.
I'm such a dummy. But, you know, the talk my parents had to give me when they came home. My poor parents. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Oh my God. Kids are so dumb. Honestly, I probably would have done the same. Like, no, I need to watch this. Like, I have to figure out how. Thanks so much for listening. You can follow us on all social media at Clown Vibes Podcast or email us at clownvibespodcast@gmail.com.
And if you like our show and want to support us, please like, subscribe, and give us a rating and review. That's it for today. Bye, clowns.
Bye, clowns.